Hello, everybody, and welcome. It's Monday night. It's May 11th, and I am here on Facebook Live. You might be watching me currently live on the pre-recorded version or even on YouTube. Welcome. I'm Gretchen Heidel, and I am an intuitive astrologer, a psychic medium, clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, and I am here tonight talking about lots and lots of energy coming this week. So hello everybody that's joining. Welcome. Please go ahead and type your astrological sign. I love hearing where everybody, all their signs and where everybody's from and how are y'all doing? It's COVID still, and we're checking in, just checking in on everybody because it's a lot of energy this week. A lot. So we're going to be getting started. Hey Bree, welcome. So go ahead and sign your name in and also tell me what astrological sign you are. If you know your rising and your moon sign, that's always fun too. Okay, so wow, we have a lot of energy. This is the week of the retrogrades. We have 3 planets turning retrograde this week. Just 3. It's a lot of energy. I mean, we're going to have a lot of different switching. It's going to be a lot of different types of energy going on here. Hi, Corbin. Scorpio from Georgia. Welcome. Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. I know you're all 3. You're like the overachiever in the air sign department, Bree. Almir, Taurus. Hi. Welcome. Happy Taurus season. Melanie is Leo and Taurus here. Harold the Virgo. Welcome, Harold. And so yeah, we have a lot of astrological energy that is here. It is alive, it's well, it's crazy. Harold's from New York City. Welcome. I love hearing all that. Any special events? Yeah, it's all special. It's all special, Amir. We have a lot of things. I'll try to get to that question in just a little bit. But I want to talk about these retrogrades because we have a lot. We have 3 retrogrades. So the first one started today on Monday on May 11th, and Saturn went retrograde. And then on Wednesday, May 13th, Venus goes retrograde. And then on Thursday, on the 14th, Jupiter goes retrograde. So yay, we have all 3 planets going retrograde. So I'll tell you, this is a lot. Just saying, it's a lot. And so what that means, I want to kind of help you guys to divide out the types of planets and why that's important when we're looking at all these planets going retrograde at the same time. Why is all of that important? And basically, oh, hey, Mom, welcome. That's Rita. Everybody say hi to Rita. Why that's important is basically because the planets are kind of separated out into 2 kind of categories. The personal planets, which are the planets that are here closest to the Earth. Okay, and those personal planets are like our Mercury and Venus and Mars. And then you get into more like the outer planets, and that's like Jupiter and Saturn and Pluto and Uranus and Neptune, and all those ones are on the outer kind of, So they're different. The outer planet that are retrograde are different than the personal planets that are retrograde, which are more personal. They're kind of like, oh, hey, how you doing? Up in your face, and that's why Mercury retrograde kind of bothers us and we feel it so strongly because that's a personal planet. Mercury is very close to our Earth, and that's basically what the deal is, where you get into some of these other planets that are like Venus. Venus is going to be retrograde this week. That's a personal, up close and personal planet. Robin said, hey, Gemini. Oh, yeah, we got some Gemini stuff going on. Gretchen said, doesn't feel good at all for this Capricorn. Marianne, Aries Sun, Pisces Moon, Cancer Rising. Wow, you are very close to myself, Marianne. I am Aries Sun, Pisces Moon, Leo Rising. So that's kind of a variation of that. And Sheila said, great to see you. Yes, hi, welcome everybody. So like and share with your friends. That's what helps the good word to be spread so that everybody else knows what's going on. Because otherwise, you know what happens when you don't know about these cycles? you feel like you're going a little crazy. You know, that's what happens. Hey, Tara, welcome. Taurus, Scorpio, Cancer. Wow, that's a earth and water right there. And, you know, when we feel like we're going crazy, you know, I get a lot of people that contact me like, am I nuts? Am I going crazy? I feel like I'm going crazy. And I'm like, no, honey, like full moon just happened. Mercury's are, you know, retrograde and this and this. And then they'll go, oh, so there's like a reason for it? Yeah, there's a reason for it. And so this week is a lot of switching. So when we have a planet go retrograde, basically, let me just give you the definition of a retrograde. And I have Val and Skittles. Hey, welcome. Good to see you, Val. I haven't talked to you in a little while. When the planet appears as if it's retrograde, going retrograde from the planet, from the Earth, the planets don't actually go backwards. That's actually an optical illusion. Different planets have different orbits. And so it's sometimes when we look up, it looks like the planet actually is going backwards instead of forward. That's the definition of retrograde. So that's the astronomical definition of the retrograde, of like it's an optical illusion. The astrological definition of retrograde is all hell's breaking loose, okay? And that's kind of the way that it happens, okay? So when the retrograde happens, it looks like it's going backward, and we treat it as such. We treat it as like a time of review, reevaluate, reconnect, re, and then we're going to be looking at what area of life is going retrograde. So we'll start with Saturn, because Saturn just went retrograde today. It was just after midnight, like 12:10 a.m. Midnight. So if it was technically yesterday if you're living on the West Coast at 9:10 p.m. Jay, Virgo, Moon, Aquarius, Rising, Capricorn, welcome. I love you guys know your signs. This is so good. And so Saturn retrograde in Aquarius. So Saturn's always retrograde. It starts retrograding around April, May, and then stays retrograde until about September. So this is normal. Okay, so when I say the outer planets are going retrograde, they're retrograde for 4 or 5 months of the year, every single year. Okay, so it's not like it's a shock or a surprise. It's just what's happening and the way it's all coming together this week, which is a little shocking and surprising because they're all 3 planets are going retrograde at the same time, so that's a little different and weird. But this is normal. Saturn retrograde always goes retrograde in the summer. So basically, when we're talking about Saturn, we're talking about systems. We're talking about structure. We're talking about rules. We're talking about, it's almost like a box, right? Like you're talking about your systems, right? So when you think of a system, that's government, isn't it? A government is a system. Banking is a system. Our financial system is the bank. It can even be the structure of religion, like the church part of religion, not the spirituality part of religion, but like you kneel down on the pew and you do your thing. That's kind of more the structure of religion, and the hierarchy of the, whatever, pope, priest, whoever it is. All that stuff is definitely, Saturn stuff. And so Saturn's your rules and kind of like what helps you get through life. Now, Saturn's a big thing because, you probably have some kind of a system in your life. Like you wake up and you wash your face and you brush your teeth and you have your coffee and whatever it is you do. That's a system, So when you think about Saturn, we have had nothing but, a lot of us in COVID are either in some sort of a lockdown, or we're doing some weird, I don't say weird, but like unusual shopping, because the shopping's not normal anymore, like where you can just run to the store every single day. You have to kind of plan your shopping, or if you're on the front lines and you're working, maybe you're working even more than normal, or maybe you're homeschooling your children. There's a lot of new systems that just got put into place. Now we're going to review all those systems. So basically that's what's happening with Saturn going retrograde today. And it's going to stay retrograde until September 29th. I'm going to throw out a lot of dates today, so if you all want to write it down, it doesn't matter. I'm going to be posting all these updates on my astrology updates page by Gretchen Heidel on my Facebook page. So, I always try to keep you guys informed on a daily basis. I'm typing you guys something daily. I'm doing live broadcasts weekly. So hopefully I can keep sharing with you guys and kind of giving you guys some guidance on a collective level. Hey, Darlene, welcome. Rachel said, hey, hi, thanks for doing this. Let's see, Leo. Yeah, Sagittarius, you got a lot of fire there. So if you're just joining live, please type below your astrological sign and also where, how you doing in this and all this COVID stuff. And if you have any questions, go ahead and fire away. Almir already presented ones, which I'm going to get to in a little bit. He wanted to know what's happening on the 17th, which is good stuff, actually, Almir. We have the sun forming a lovely trine with Jupiter on the 17th, so that's going to be a really good one. The only thing is Pallas Athena is going to go retrograde on that day. Yes, another retrograde. So, it's actually technically 4 planets if you count, Pallas Athena, because Pallas Athena, I call her Pallas just for short. She's technically an asteroid / planetoid. So, so there's that. So Miranda, hey, Miranda the Virgo and Carrie Aries, welcome. I love that you guys know all your signs. This is amazing. There we go. Sorry, it said I had poor connection. It's your birthday. That's great. My energy, Almir, I was giving to you shorted out. Shorted out my connection. So anyways, Saturn retrograde is all of our structures. So we're going to be looking at our structures, re-looking at our day, re-looking at our habits. If you think of Saturn, it's really like your habits, and like, how did you set yourself up for all of this, homeschooling your babies or working from home or doing your own this or this? I mean, how's that all going for you? That's Saturn retrograde. And at first it's going to be in Aquarius all the way until July 1st. And then it goes back into Capricorn from July 1st to December. And, I don't know if you guys noticed, but things have lightened a little bit. Now that Saturn was in Aquarius, that's where we're all of a sudden talking about breaking free, not being restricted anymore, not having rules, like don't tell me I'm in lockdown, and all this kind of stuff that's going on behind the scenes in a social sort of way. The restrictions on, travel and all this stuff, they're kind of starting to loosen. Well, the problem will be when we go back into Capricorn with some of these planets, then we're going to see more restriction and constriction because Saturn is Capricorn's ruler. So it's basically, all about that constriction and restriction, and Capricorn loves to have that rules and regulations and constriction, and that can be too much. So I've been talking about this, you guys, it's on video. You can go back and look on the Monday night videos. I've been talking about a second wave coming of the virus, and that we might have to do a whole, second round of lockdown. Okay, so prepare yourselves, all right? Prepare and like little squirrels, just be prepared. It won't be as shocking as the first one because whenever we have to redo something, it's like, been there, done that. I know how to do this now. So that's what this retrograde is going to be about for Saturn. That's just Saturn, okay? We're just covering Saturn. And Saturn in Aquarius definitely is a little bit more freedom loving, more adventurous, and definitely pertaining to technology. So when the internet, the WWW web, the World Wide Web was born, was in Saturn and Aquarius. So we've had to upgrade our technology during this cycle. And I also predicted this. Again, if you look back on my Monday night videos, I also predicted that this was going to be a new thing and this was going to be the wave, okay? So is all this technology and Zoom, and all these different ways of connecting that we're using now that maybe we never did. I'm seeing tons of people using stuff like that, so that's pretty cool. So if you're just joining tonight, welcome. Go ahead and say hi, post your astrological sign. I love hearing from you, and like and share. Okay, and then we're going to get into Venus retrograde. Now, this is a big personal planet. So like I said, Saturn's retrograde half the year. Jupiter is retrograde like 4 months of the year. But Venus Venus retrograde is up close and personal, and Venus is in our love life and in Gemini. So we're going to be reviewing some love, some relationship stuff. Now, it's interesting because it's human connection. Love is human connection. Love is something that we desire, we crave, we're human beings, okay? So Venus is the goddess of love, beauty. So definitely if you work in a creative field, this could also pertain to your work because it's beauty, it's like songs and poetry and fashion and all that kind of stuff. That's Venus. And then also money, honey. Okay, so Venus does have a money connotation with it. But really the primary thing you're looking at for sure is relationships and love relationships. And man, you'd think COVID would slow people down. It is not slowing people down. I still, in my private astrological sessions with folks, I'm getting tons of love questions and how do I date during COVID, and my husband / or wife is bothering the heck out of me, and how do I navigate all of this with the kids and all that. So when we talk about the next review of a personal planet, an up-close personal planet, we're talking about Venus in Gemini. Now, it'll start the retrograde process at 21 degrees Gemini, and it's going to go all the way back to 5 degrees Gemini by the end. So this is an important date, so write it down. 5/13, so this Wednesday, all the way until June 25th. Okay, that's the time that it's going to be retrograde. And to make it even more interesting, at the end, the last week, it's going to overlap with Mercury retrograde. So Venus retrograde and Mercury retrograde at the end in June are going to overlap for 1 week. So Mercury retrograde will start on June 18th. So write that down in Cancer. Okay, so but for 1 week, two personal planets are going to be retrograde at the same time. And man, you want to talk about exes, okay? So let's talk about that. So we're not meeting a lot of new people for all you single people out there. We're not meeting a lot of new people right now. So exes, there's 2 times exes really for a fact always come back around, and that's Venus retrograde and Mercury retrograde. And they're both about to happen kind of sort of at the same time. We're gonna have one and then right after have the other one. So oh my gosh, so that could be an ex person coming back, and I won't even say an ex. It doesn't have to just be an ex. It could be somebody from your past, somebody you already knew. Remember the words, it's all the RE, repeat, review, evaluate, reconnect, with the exes. So when we look at this, we're repeating, reviewing, reevaluating systems on Monday, and for 4 or 5 months we're going to be reviewing our systems, how we're doing life, all of our habits, all that stuff. Now we're going to be in Venus retrograde. We're reviewing all that stuff. How do we love? How do we relate to others? Our fashion sense, our financial, and especially in Gemini, you got 2 there. Gemini is the twins. So people with natal Venus and Gemini, like where Gemini is in your astrological chart full time, I'm sorry to pick on you guys, but that is the sign that's most sort of notorious for the cheating. Not that everybody cheats that has Venus and Gemini, but for sure there's a predisposition because it's 2, or being like polyamorous, or being like having, just kind of just kind of being open with love and like all this kind of stuff. It tends to be like a more free style of love, the Venus and Gemini. So if you have Venus and Gemini in your chart, you'll definitely be feeling this. Or if you have Venus in any of the other air signs, like Venus in Libra or Venus in Aquarius, you'll definitely be feeling this air energy. Okay, so, or if you have fire too, I mean that because air and fire get along, so that's gonna, so if you have Venus in Aries or Leo or Sagittarius, that's gonna fire up your love life. Now, it's all reviewing, so it's notorious time of year where basically people will break up. You're going to start seeing celebrities left and right so-and-so split, these people split, these people split. But then you're also going to see people getting together and doing that whole thing. So what it's doing is it's making us review things and really have to look at things like, what is going on with my love life? How do I relate to people? How do they relate to me? Am I putting out some weird vibe that people are kind of, being weird with? And then on top of that, they might not pass the test. If we really kind of look beneath the hood and go, what's going on under there? We might not like what we see. And that's when we see, these couples, famous couples. But I also have a lot of people, especially towards the end of the retrogrades, I'll have a lot of people going, I reevaluated this relationship and I'm done with it. And then some people reevaluate the relationship and they go, wow, I'm lucky. I didn't even really realize how lucky I am. I'm looking at this in a fresh new eyes and really seeing that my partner is pretty darn awesome. And I think I'm going to keep him or her around for a good long time. So, with air, you always want to kind of keep things light. I know that we're about to kind of look and refocus on this, but with air is light, it's playful, it's flirtatious, it's not too heavy or serious. That's the problem when let's say you have a lot of earth in your chart and you really want to settle down, you want to get married, and you want to, make it firm and concrete and solid. Air's like, whatever, I'm just going to float over here and I'm going to float over here. Air tends to have that airy quality. It's also a very cerebral thing. So if you guys have ever heard of the word sapiosexual, they say the brain is the biggest love organ in the body, the sex organ. And so, using your words, Gemini is all about using your words and connecting through poetry and these beautiful texts and flirty type stuff, and just stuff that's light and fun. Think Gemini is fun, and Gemini is the sign of curiosity. So especially if you're single, getting out there, and now I say getting out there, probably not literally, but you might be doing something on the computer, texting a little something, somebody that you had a little eye on, flirting and all that stuff. I'll just say the only problem with all of this is that it's not a great time to connect with somebody new. It's really a better time to connect with somebody that you already had, your eye on, or somebody in the past, or somebody that you kind of already know. New connections in retrogrades are said to not be long lasting, but hey, if you want to fling, Venus in Gemini is all about fling. So if you want to fling, this is a great time. But starting a new committed relationship, you might want to wait until Venus retrograde's over and when Mercury retrograde's over. So none of us are going to get very lucky here for any time soon until those retrogrades are over, which it probably won't be until roughly July. So we have a lot of stuff going on. And then when we get into Jupiter retrograde, so Jupiter has been in the heavy sign, again, of Capricorn, a lot of this heavy global stuff, okay? The restriction, the constriction, the buying allotted amounts, and the small, rations for the future, and all this stuff, this rules and the heaviness and the lockdown and that feeling of, lack of freedom. You can blame Capricorn for that. I love my Capricorn friends, and I have a little bit of Capricorn in my chart myself, so I'm not throwing stones at glass houses here, but on a collective level, Capricorn is heavy. It's conservative. It's very more restricted. It's let's go back to the 1950s and think about things in that way. It can be very old, like that old fashioned, but positively aspected. It can be classics and antiques and wonderful things, but what we've seen politically and kind of globally, it's been much more heavier and restrictive. And so Jupiter's going to be it's in Capricorn, and it's just going to be keeping going backwards in Capricorn. And so here's another date for you. So it's going to start on Thursday, the 14th, and then it's going to go all the way until almost back where Saturn is on September 12th. So basically we have that period of time where Jupiter is going to be retrograde. Now, Jupiter is our good luck, good fortune, optimism, expansion. and now it's gonna be retrograde. So two like kind of fun planets, like Venus is fun, Jupiter's fun, are both gonna be retrograde right now, which means like could mean not as much fun. You know, I mean, I don't like Jupiter retrograde. I know it's like 4 or 5 months of the year, so you know it's not my funnest. I like having good luck, good fortune, optimism, expansion. I like that. I like expanding. So how do you treat? What happens when that planet is retrograde? Let's talk about that because it's like, well, how's my good luck and good fortune being aspected here? Well, the downside or the shadow side, because remember, everything in astrology is paradoxical. Okay, so you can't think of it black and white. Like, is this good or is this bad? You know, it could be both. You know, I mean, that's life. That's how life is. So Jupiter is good luck and good fortune, expansion. Well, what expanded too much for you in this last like winter, fall, you know, from the fall, winter to now, like in that time frame where it was direct? Sometimes we spent a little too much money. Sometimes we put on a little too much weight. I kind of was saying to all y'all last week that they're calling it the COVID-15. People who have been inside too long gained some weight. You know, I mean, sometimes it's expansion of that. Sometimes it's expansion of anxiety. Sometimes it's like, what did you go too far with, in other words? And then we're going to review, reevaluate, revisit the too farness. Okay, like if this got out of control, it was too much. So think about things in terms of, where was I overindulgent? Maybe it's too much drinking. Maybe it's too much smoking. Maybe it's, you know, in other words, maybe I kind of went out too far. Oh boy, my waistband's out as far as it can go and it's still too, you know, snug. So whatever the thing might be that we went too far with, now we're going to constrict it and restrict it back. It is in Capricorn, so we're going to be looking at that in that sort of conservative lens of like, oof, we can't keep doing that. I can't keep eating those chips every night, or I can't, whatever it is you're doing too much of. I'm just trying to think of examples, but basically that's the thing. So we're going to be doing that. So that's the retrograde of Jupiter in Capricorn. And again, that's going to be from Thursday all the way until September 12th. So there's a lot of energy this week. Now, when planets first turn retrograde, it's like a car. It's not like a light switch. We think, okay, it doesn't change directions like that. It's like a car. So it's going, stops. And that's called stationary direct. I know there's a lot of astrological terms and terminology, and that's basically what that means. Stationary direct or stationary retrograde means that it stopped. Now it's going backwards, just like a car. You can't just start. You have to go. You have to slow down, stop, and then slow down, and then reverse, stop, and then slow down and go forward again. That's basically what it does. That's what I call it, the windshield wiper. Okay, when these planets do this. And so the slowing down, the stopping, that's this week. So we're changing direction on a lot of things. Systems, love, and like, where did we get out of overextend ourselves or get out of control? Because with Jupiter, sometimes we can't say no. You know, that's the thing. I mean, sometimes we have trouble saying no with Jupiter. So now we have to find our no. And a lot of us have a hard time saying no. I mean, that's like a thing. So if you're just joining, welcome everybody. Please type your astrological sign. I love hearing what everybody's sign is. And also like and share. Share with your friends. And please ask questions, because I a lot of times I get a deluge at the end and then I can't answer. So yeah, I will be pulling cards for 1 or 2 people, and then I'm going to also pull cards, a collective card for everybody, what everybody needs to know about these retrogrades. Now, one thing is that's very important about all this is it's all ungrounding, because we're changing direction. It's like that car, you know, like we're kind of changing direction. So we need to be grounded this week. That's going to be the thing, because with all of this stuff kind of just, you know, changing direction. Hey, Emily Sagittarius, I had a feeling you were a Sagittarius. We want darker type stones. Okay, that's, I'm always talking about dark stones for grounding. I was trying to think about stones. What kind of stone would be good for retrogrades? Grounding, because we just need to be grounded as we change direction, because stuff is shifting, stuff is changing. I actually have a client, basically. I know this I keep hitting my geranium here, and it's bouncing back and forth. Oh, hey Hans, welcome. Darcy Joe, welcome. And Lindsay Aquarius, welcome. So basically stuff is changing, and so as we change, as we shift, we just need to be grounded back in. So I'm showing you some black kyanite, and all of the dark colored stones are really, really good for grounding. So I have my onyx here. This is onyx, black onyx. I have hematite, which you guys know is one of my favorites. I always wear a lot of hematite. I have hematite here. I have hematite in my bracelet. I have black onyx in stone in my other hand. And yeah, I love the dark colored stones. You could have black tourmaline is a good one. Jet, which is actually kind of an interesting, it's not actually a stone. Jet is petrified wood, fossilized wood, and it's very light. If you pick up jet, it's like woof, why is that so light? And that's because it's wood. It's not actually a stone, but jet is a good one. And maybe doing a lot of smudging and clearing. Okay, that might be good for your home and your atmosphere, because we're gonna feel a bit ungrounded. It's like all these things are switching up, and so what you thought kind of was a thing, now it's not going to be a thing, or maybe it is a thing. I'm not sure if it's a thing, and really like an unsteadiness. That's going to be the vibration of this week, because it's going to take a while to get things sorted out. And it takes a little while for it even to start going back in the retrograde. Like it takes a while to pick up speed going backwards. So stuff is changing. And we have 2 planets shifting this week. So not only are 3 planets going retrograde, 2 planets are shifting into new signs. We're just going to throw that in there. Hey Maggie, Deborah. Yeah, Deborah says it sounds difficult. Well, it's not difficult if you. I always have a saying that I say all the time: forewarned is forearmed. If you know what to expect, then it's like, oh, that's what Gretchen was talking about. Okay, I can work with this. Versus this weird feeling of like, am I crazy? Is stuff just going against me and everything's falling apart, and oh my God, what did I do in a past life to deserve this? Sometimes we get in those cycles, and then we blame ourselves, or we blame like our misfortune, or we blame things, right? And that's not necessarily the case. It's just that these planets are all, for collectively, is going to reverse, and we're all being put under that. I call it like a little mini stress test, like at the doctor, if you go to cardiologist and they make you walk on the treadmill and you have to stress test your heart and make sure it can pump under duress, that's basically what we're doing. We're putting our new systems that we developed in the last few months under a stress test. We're putting our relationships under a stress test. We're putting, can I keep sustainably doing the overextending thing of saying yes, and maybe signing up to work more, or to sign up for more school lessons for my kids, or whatever thing. That's going under a stress test too. And we may have to par back on that and go, whew, I can't sustain that forever. I need my sleep, and so that's a thing. So look at these things more as a stress test. And if it's not meant to work, we get so attached to stuff, maybe it's not meant to work. Maybe it's meant to just kind of crumble down, and then we're going to rebuild it and make it stronger, better. So the 2 planets that are going into new signs one is Mercury, and that's going to be going into Gemini, and that went into Gemini today around 6 p.m. Eastern time. Mercury is at home in Gemini, so things are going to speed up as far as our communication goes, and if something falls apart, we're going to be texting people and calling them, and oh my God, and talking about it, because that's a Gemini thing. And then Mars is going to be going into Pisces, which I want to talk about, because that could be a little bit stressful. So if anybody has any questions, let me know. Emily said, so true. Kathy Connors, Yeah, she said it's been a difficult couple of weeks. Yeah, that's because all the planets been slowing down these last few weeks, and plus we've had a full moon. We had that super moon. It was the last super moon of 2020. Thank God. Okay, but there's always a but, isn't there? We're coming up to eclipse season next month. Sorry, eclipses are like full moons and new moons on steroids. So we're about to go into that. But I'm not there yet. We're not there yet. We don't have to worry about next month yet. I know. Everybody's like giving the surprised face. We have eclipse season every year, and this year it's going to be really ramped up. So just so that you know, we have like a little bubble in the summer. I know we're not getting much of a break this year. I'm sorry, everybody. But we have a little bubble in the summer where it's going to be a little more calm. And then the fall is very tumultuous looking, everybody. So I keep warning people about this fall. And I want you guys to be forewarned as forearmed, where everybody else gets relaxed and everybody else stops wearing their masks and everybody else goes to major gatherings and different events. I want you to act exactly like you're acting right now in lockdown. I want you to wear your mask. I want you to disinfect. There's this number that they gave everybody around the world of you can come out of hiding now. Is an arbitrary bullshit number. Like it really is. It's a stupid date. It's just based on like economy and stuff. I mean, it's not because the virus goes away. It's because, people need to work and need to feed their families. So I want you to do that in a way that's safe. That's all I'm saying. Just be safe, and not be paranoid. Just be safe. So, Sharon, oh, hey, welcome. Yes, I do those. Yes, of course. So welcome everybody who's joining tonight. Like and share. So let's talk about Mars going into Pisces. Mars is in each sign for roughly 2 months, and it's going to be 2 to 2.5 months, and it's going to be in Pisces. And it's at its fall or at its detriment in Pisces. I mean, it's Mars in Pisces is not the most energetic. Okay, Mars is energy. It's your drive, it's your ambition, it's your motivation in Pisces, which is the ocean, it's water. I mean, I don't know where are we going with that. It's Pisces. This is a time, where we could possibly not even feel physically well or feel physically ambitious or feel a little slow or sluggish. It might even be a time we're going back to work. All of our sudden our eating cycles are changing because Saturn's, going direct and changing our habits and our systems. So we may have to wake up early again all of a sudden. We may have to go to bed early all of a sudden. We may have to adjust our schedules again. And that's going to feel like it's going to take us a little while to get in the habit of that. Now, Pisces is very creative, so I'm not putting down my Pisces. I love Pisces. I have my moon in Pisces. So I love Pisces. It's associated with music and it's associated with art and creativity. So it's like drifty and dreamy, But Mars is your drive, your ambition, your motivation in this drifty, dreamy kind of thing. It's almost like being in a boat with no sail, you're just drifting around, and that's kind of Mars and Pisces. And I get a lot of people that call me during Mars and Pisces and they go, I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't get my mojo, and I don't feel kind of, well, you're not supposed to. Sometimes you're supposed to in life. I know that the work world doesn't operate like this, but sometimes you're supposed to just kind of just drift and dream a little bit and do lots of yoga or meditate or take pictures or do something that is fun and creative and not be grinding. America loves that grind. That's our thing, right? You have to always be in the grind, but that's not Mars and Pisces. Mars and Pisces is all about creating and painting a beautiful picture all day, so that's why it feels like when Mars is in Pisces, because we want to keep going and going, and here we're not really supposed to do that with Mars and Pisces. So I'm going to pull a card that is going to just be a collective card for folks that are on. If you guys have questions, nobody posted any questions tonight, but this is a big week. So what does everybody, I kind of want to know, what does everybody need to know to navigate these waters that are changing and shifting and going in different directions. What does everybody need to know about these retrogrades? And please, if you have a question, type it now, because I'm going to be jumping off in a second after I get done my cards. So what does everybody need to know on a collective basis for these retrogrades? Wow. Passion. You know, we got that Venus retrograde. I don't know if you can see. It's the angel here. Passion, Archangel Hanael, trust and follow your renewed passion for love, life, and career. So love life, right? I was really talking a lot about this Venus retrograde, Venus in Gemini, sorry. It's passion, right? It's like, who's our love? And, you know, do I like this one or do I like this one? I mean, a lot of times it's choosing kind of between two people, two options, you know, two situations. That's Venus in Gemini, brings up those. It always is bringing up those things. And it maybe is loving two things. You know, Marie Forleo talks about this topic a lot in context of business, being a multi-passionate entrepreneur, you know, where you love multiple things. Like, how do I narrow it down? You know, I have some people that basically contact me and they go, what do I do with my life? You know, I don't know what to do. Because they have no clue at all. But that's the minority. Actually, what most people call me is they go, I have like this and this and this and this and this, and I like all of them. What do I do? And so it's about picking and choosing, following your passion. You know, we talk a lot about passion and what gets you excited. It's usually something on the inside. We always are kind of looking on the outside for something like, well, maybe if I try that, it'll work. Or maybe I try that. No, you've already usually done your passion. Like, it's in you. It's already there. It's something that basically you will do when someone's not paying you or when you have free time. Or, you know, you always were drawn to it. Like as a kid, you know, I mean, like it comes usually early in life. It's usually something. People talk to me about their passions when they're 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. And so that is a thing. So it's a good thing. All right. So Deborah said, what if someone was born during Saturn retrograde? So like half the population's born with Saturn retrograde, Deborah. So it just means that in your life you might have found or that person's life, I don't know if you're asking for yourself or not, but in life, you might have found it to be just a little harder to set up these rules and these regulations and systems and habits, but that's exactly what you're meant to do. So it's just like you have to kind of try harder with it, but it doesn't, it will be comfortable for you if you already have Saturn retrograde, because it's like, hello, familiar to territory. Welcome to my world, people. You know, I always laugh when I see a collective, like, sort of event that is mirrored in my own chart. Like, I'm born with that and I live with that event full time in my chart. Everybody else is running around like chicken without their heads cut, you know, like, oh my God, you know, this thing, and it's just so awful. And I'm like, I live with that full time, people, you know, welcome to my world. So Deborah, that's what Saturn retrograde is like. Any of these planets, if you had Venus retrograde or Jupiter retrograde in your chart. Oh, one quick thing about Jupiter retrograde I forgot to say, and it's very important. Okay, it is said in astrology, very important. Do not start a new business during Jupiter retrograde. It's 4 or 5 months. It is said if you start your business during Jupiter retrograde that actually the business will not make money. It'll be more charitable in nature instead of profitable, okay? So you might be giving away a lot of stuff but not really profitable. So here's the workaround with this. You don't want to register an LLC. Like, you could start the whole thing and then not register the LLC. Or you don't want to do a grand opening. You know, we're probably not doing many grand openings these days anyway, which is good actually, because the grand opening of a business is considered to be the birth date of the business. So if you have a business and you have a grand opening, that's the birth date. So if you register your LLC, that could be a birth date, or a grand opening, that can be a birth date. And you don't want the birth date of the business to be during Jupiter retrograde again, which is between May 14th and September 12th. But you can hold off on those aspects and still do the rest of the stuff. I mean, that's a thing. So just, that's what I always tell people, kind of do a workaround. All right. So now everybody's posting. Okay, Emily said, is this a time to be blunt with others at work or relationships, or is it wise to go with the flow and be patient with interpersonal disagreements? Be patient, girl, because everybody's shifting. Everybody's under this stress test. So like under normal circumstances, you want to speak your mind and you want to say how you feel and all of that stuff. But unfortunately, everybody's going under a stress test. And that means that everybody's going to be stressed out. So people are not going to react as well to different things. However, because it's a stress test, you know, the other thing of it is you don't want, let's say, I'll use an example. Let's say you're in a relationship with somebody and things have not been going well and nobody's kind of talking about problems and there's no like coming to a meeting of the minds or solution to the problem. You might want to put a stress test on it. You might want to say, like, it's about time we have this talk. You know, we want to do it in a slow, patient way. That's the approach, slow, patient way. But it might be time to have that talk and to work out these disagreements. It's just that you want to not be kind of chippy, because that's going to not give you those great results, because everybody's kind of feeling a little bit stressed out and chippy, and everybody's patience running thin right now. So that's the best. That's the best thing. Okay. All right. Let's see. I can't, some of these went by. Hard to find housing during COVID. Your daughter is looking for a place to live by June 9th. Is that the question, Darcy? Will she find a place by June 9th? Go ahead and post that. Whoops. Well, maybe not. I had cards. Oh, I had cards fly out here. Lindsay, I wish I could help my son find his passion. He struggles. The struggles are wearing on all of us. I find it sucks right now. Well, passion is often, again, you don't have to find passion. Passion is usually already kind of innately within. What you're doing is you're just sort of remembering your passion in a way. You know, and obviously exposure to things like helps. You know, I mean, I'll give you an example. One of my passions of life is animals, for sure. And so I had exposure to animals as a young child. And so when I, you know, grew up, I went into veterinary medicine and I did that work for 14 years. And so that's, you know, that's the passion. And it's interesting because, I was just shuffling. So I got gentleness and career transition, which means that career transition might mean that some of you or all of you are going to be, kind of shifting some stuff in your career, and be gentle with yourself and gentle with others. So getting back to Lindsay with her son, you know, you want to expose him to as many things as possible during COVID. It's a little hard. But see what he gravitates to naturally. And yes, I realize that sometimes it's video games, okay? Well, you want to know something? Champlain College up here in Vermont actually hires me to do readings for their students during stress week, which is like midterms and finals. And also I've done readings for them for their graduating senior boat cruise and stuff. And I've done it for over 10 years, where I've counseled and worked with these college students, and it's so awesome. I wish all colleges, first of all, would have the insight and foresight to do that. And secondly, it's given me a lot of insight and foresight into, you know, younger folks and what they're doing now, and keeping that. Do you know how many game like programmer people that I've done readings for? Like tons. It's a real job, you know. I mean, like, you know, if your son just likes video games, you know, hello, he could be a future programmer. So, I mean, it's a thing. We just, obviously, you want to do it in a healthy context. Jupiter retrograde is all about paring back something that we do too much of. So if your son plays too many video games, that's something that he might need to dial back. So I hope that answers your question, but finding passion is always looking inside. It's not really outside. It's something that we gravitate towards naturally, like a duck to water. That's passion. It's like, oh, I don't know why, but I love doing this. And sometimes we don't get paid for our passion either. I mean, I think of the millions of people who love just having a family. They don't get paid for that, you know, but it's still passion. So I hope that helps. All right, so Melissa, Andrea, you said, what about starting studies in a certificate program during, that's a great thing to do for sure, because Jupiter is all about learning, higher education, and you're going, I assume you're doing something where you already have done it like before, or you had an interest in it, you're like returning to it. I have this feeling, I have a strong feeling that you're returning to something, or that you're getting like another certification or some kind of thing that you've already sort of played with or done before. So I'll do a card for you on that. Gifts from God. That's great. Okay. Yeah, you said yes. Okay, yeah. So you're returning to something. It's fine. Yeah, you're totally fine. You're totally fine. Actually, that's a good thing to do. Okay. And let me just see. Darcy Joe, for your daughter. I'll just answer one more question. Darcy Joe, for your daughter. Okay. And if she's going to find a place by June 9th. I'm sorry, but I kind of see a bouncing sort of thing, like where she maybe goes 1, 1. Like maybe she goes to a interim type of place, Darcy Joe. I'm sorry to say that. Or maybe she's already doing that. I'm not sure, but there's like, I should say 2, right? So like it's 1, 2. Where she has to maybe crash at someone's house and then finds the place, or because I'm getting the number 13, I'm not sure what that means, if it's on the 13th or it's 13 days beyond the date or some kind of association with that, but there's some kind of a thing with 13. But I feel like she's like kind of goes someplace and then finds something. There is something out there for her, but for some reason it feels like it doesn't, I don't know if it's available then or something. I don't know. Or maybe she's already living with a friend and then like she already is in that part of it. But just to let you know, oh, she's between Vermont and here. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. So it's like these 2 kind of things. It's 2 things. So, oh, Almir, that's great. You work for Champlain College. That's awesome. So, yeah, I mean, I'm probably not going to be able to do any events this year. I'm assuming all the events are canceled, the student events. But I used to do that last year and all the years before I used to be in there. Lindsay said he likes digging in the dirt, taking things apart. He also likes Minecraft and building in his own words. See, yeah. And that's the thing of it, is that he could grow up and actually be a farmer. People make money at that. I have a friend of mine that does that and makes tons of money. Okay. So, you know, that's the thing of it. You know, sometimes we think it's like this big giant thing out there, and it's already started inside. I kept saying, it's funny, Lindsay, because when I was talking about him, I saw video games, but I also was seeing chickens. I don't know if chickens are a thing of his, but or if you guys have chickens, or if he likes chickens, or whatever, but there's something with chickens. Darcy Joe, I don't know about, I think she could be in Vermont, but Vermont feels harder than New Hampshire to get into for some reason. I don't know why, but I feel like she's like hitting some kind of a wall with Vermont. She's getting leadership, so she's got to take charge of the situation and really step up to the plate. I don't know if she's not being aggressive enough or something. And also clear your space, right? So she's getting, I don't know, you see it, clear your space. So literally she's got to pack up her stuff, get rid of the clutter, you know, whatever. So I hope that helps everybody. We got a big week. So if you would like to have a personalized astrological session with me, I am clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, so I see, hear, and feel things. I'm also a psychic medium where I can connect with deceased loved ones, deceased pets as well. I've done a lot of animal readings for animals that are both alive and crossed over, by the way. I worked in veterinary medicine for a long time, so I've been talking to animals for a very long time. And also I do medical scans on people too, where I can kind of scan and look at the body. Definitely doing it in conjunction with medicine. Maybe connecting you with the right doctor or right situation, getting the proper test run, stuff like that. And so I do a lot of things. Past lives is another one. I love looking at a chart and going into a past life and seeing what did you do in the past life and how can that help you now in this lifetime. So anyway, if you'd like to do a session, send me a DM, okay, private message or text message. Those are the 2 best ways to get a hold of me. It's been a little bit crazy, a little bit busy. So just bear with me and be patient. I promise I will get to you and schedule a time. So I love you all. Please take care during all this COVID stuff. Don't go crazy out there when they open up everything and run right out and, wear your mask, wash your hands, disinfect, be safe, keep it into small groups and small, situations. And I love you all. I'm sending you lots of love and light. And remember, lots of grounding, lots of patience, because we have a lot of retrogrades. Good night, everybody.